All right, we have 3 piles here for you guys. We have pile number 1, the starfish. Pile number 2, the deer. Pile number 3, the sea otter. So take a little bit of time there to check out each pile. See which one you're the most attracted to. It's the animal that we're looking at here. You could be attracted to the starfish. You could be most drawn to the deer. And you could also be attracted to the sea otter. So whichever pile speaks to you, calls to you, whichever one you're most drawn to is the one that may have a message for you. But only watch these messages, take it with a grain of salt. It may not be a message for you. So just take whatever feels right and whatever resonates. Otherwise, leave the rest behind, all right? So pile 1, 2, or 3. The timestamps will be in the description box, and I'll see you over the other side. All right, if you chose pile number 1, the starfish, this is the message for you. So when we're in the energy of the starfish, we're a bit of a star. We're a bit of a celebrity in town. So I feel like you might be an influencer. You could be a celebrity. You could be famous. Or you could just radiate the starfish energy, which is like you are very popular and well known. Everybody knows about you. And the spotlight always shines on you wherever you enter a public space or a group environment or a work environment. You know, you're very much the star, you know. You radiate starfish vibes, which talks about popularity, fame, going viral, and having a lot of influence. You know, when people are famous, they have a lot of influence in terms of status. You know, the things that they speak about can influence larger groups or the collective. But you're basically a star in whatever field that you work in. Your energy, the way you are just a presence around groups of people, you give off this beautiful starfish energy. So the first message for you is that you're a star. So whatever you could be working on creatively right now, you're going to blow up. You're going to get famous. You're going to go viral. So you might be on the verge of success, and Spirit is coming through to say you are a star. You have what it takes to make it. You are going to go viral. You are going to be famous. It's like a celebrity in town type energy. So I think the message from Spirit is, keep pushing, keep going with whatever creative projects you're doing, because you're a star. You're an amazing success, creative talent. When you have star qualities, when like people are like a talent, it's like, you have so much talent, and people can see how talented you are, but sometimes we don't see it ourselves because you're not famous yet. You haven't reached that level of recognition, is the vibe that I get. So what Spirit is coming through to say is, like, if you're not famous now, you should be famous. You're a star. And, you're going to be supported in the work that you're doing. You deserve that success and fame, and you deserve to be seen by the millions, by the masses. And you're going to have a lot of influence over the collective with whatever creative projects you're working on. That's the first message. And we have self-reflection. So I feel like you're a star because I feel like you have this ability to make people self-reflect. You hold up a mirror to people and make them reflect, make them go within. So whatever creative projects that you're working on that are going to be viral or successful, you have a star quality that makes people think about their actions, think about their behavior, and self-reflect. So there's a lot of mirroring that's going on here, which is really linked to, being, like one of those rare people that can make other people be influenced. And I think that's, what I was picking up here. You're a star. So, you could write a song and it could make people self-reflect. You could post a video and it could make people really, really shallow people who don't self-reflect. You could post a podcast and it could really make people, go within and think, I could approach a situation differently. And that's what makes you so star-like with your qualities, is like you've got these amazing talents that actually make people think out of the box, expand, really look at their perspective and self-reflect in a way that other people can't influence them to do. So you're highly influential in whatever field that you operate in is the message. And a lot of people are self-reflecting because you're very, very authentic and you can speak your truth. So this could be someone who is a musician, who has a podcast, who has a YouTube channel, who's an influencer, who's famous, but you're able to really speak your truth in a creative way due to your energy, your personality, and it's very authentic. And the way that you speak your truth really makes people self-reflect and look at their lives, look at their behavior, look at how they treated you. And it's a highly influential and talent you have, because you're very honest and truthful. And I think people trust you. People trust your opinions. They trust your perspective. So I feel like you might be someone who might be like a life coach even, like you've got this like talent that people trust, the information that they're getting from you. You speak your truth, you're very authentic, and you make people self-reflect. And then we got our ancient future. So I feel like you're an old soul, and this is kind of like the energy from, you're a teacher, like you're here to teach the ancient wisdom. And because we have our ancient future. So it's kind of like the avatar Nefertiti energy. Like you're like a divine feminine energy who has, this ancient wisdom like Nefertiti. So it's like you're an old soul who's incarnated on earth to influence people on a large scale. And I feel like Spirit is saying like you're going to be famous. You're going to go viral. People trust you. You speak your truth. You touch people's hearts in a way that's like really authentic, makes them self-reflect. And Spirit is saying like you're very talented and you're a star. And, the work that you're doing for Spirit is really important. And you're teaching the ancient ways with whatever creative projects you're doing. So you could be, a movie star telling movies. Like you could be, one of the cast members in Avatar, and it's really coming through that, your work that you're doing with the stories you're telling, you're going to get a lot of success. You're going to go far with this. And, the work that you're doing and the stories you're telling and the people that you're influencing with that work is in alignment with Spirit. And Spirit is going to push it and make it go viral. It's going to make it really successful. And Spirit wants you to know, you're a star. You're in alignment with the divine. You're teaching the indigenous kind of ways with your ancient future energy. So, how in Avatar, it's like teaching the humans to evolve. And it's the indigenous ways that, are the traditional ways that are in alignment with the divine and Spirit. And, we want a future that embodies those type of teachings. We don't want the toxicity that the human race has, that has been destructive, that has been draconian. We want this beautiful energy of like the Pleiadians, the Lemuria times, the Avatar message that comes through. And you're here to teach this in whatever creative projects that you do. So I feel like Spirit is saying like keep going with the messages that you're sending, with the stories that you're telling, with the creative work that you're doing, because you're a star. You're going to go viral, you're going to be famous, and you're really helping people self-reflect and going, maybe I'm not on the right path. Maybe I should change. Maybe I should follow this guidance. Maybe I can trust this guidance that I'm receiving. And you're really teaching, the beautiful ways of our ancient ancestors. Like you're channeling the stories of our ancestors that stand behind you. And, as you can see by her, she's beautiful and she's in alignment and she's spiritual. And she's like, the ancient teacher. It's like this shaman kind of energy, but it's also like Nefertiti, where you're teaching the divine masculine how to be in alignment, because we have a lot of like misaligned masculine energies on this planet. And it's like the feminine comes in, the divine feminine comes in and guides the divine masculine. So, there's so many different ways that this story can be perceived because it's a general reading. But the summarize, you're basically going to go viral. The work you're doing is really positive. You're a star because you're touching people's hearts, making them self-reflect. You're speaking your truth and teaching the ancient ways of the indigenous, and you're in alignment with spirit, and people trust you. So you're definitely someone that spirit's going to help, support, and push. And you're going to go viral. You're going to end up famous for the work that you're doing because you're in alignment with the divine and you're helping people self-reflect and get on the right path. So that is your message. I really hope this resonated with you. We got there in the end, and take care, and I'll see you next time. Keep doing the great work that you're doing there, light worker. If you chose pile number 2, you got the spirit animal of the deer. And this one's about prey. So I feel like you're very innocent if you've resonated with this spirit animal in this pile. But I feel like you're exhausted from being preyed upon. I just got a huge yawn, and I just got like a lot of exhaustion just came through then. So I feel like you've been preyed upon, and you're coming up as a spirit animal, the deer, because you're constantly being preyed upon by predators. You're constantly on high alert. You're constantly in survival mode. This is the alchemical symbol for earth. And I feel like in the 3D, you are constantly seeking out predators and scanning for threats. Your body and your nervous system has been in survival mode for a really long time, and I feel like you're hyper vigilant. Like, oh, is this person, it's like a threat, when your body doesn't go into rest or recovery because it's constantly scanning for future threats. And I feel like your nervous system is like totally wiped out and exhausted from this journey. And I feel like you're just like, can I trust this person? Are they going to attack me? And I feel like there's just so much energy about being preyed upon. So spirit is coming through to really acknowledge the fact that you have been hunted and preyed upon in this lifetime by an obscene amount of predators. And it's really impacted your nervous system. You might have PTSD from it all. But yeah, you have been attacked, targeted, and preyed upon. Because you're quite attractive. So you might be quite good looking. I feel like this is, someone who's very good looking, and a lot of people want you. They find you really attractive. So the reason why you've been so preyed upon is because you're very, very hot, very good looking, and a lot of people desire you. So there's a lot of energies that have lusted after you. And I think that's why you found life so challenging, because you're constantly being preyed upon. A lot of people lust after you. A lot of people desire you. A lot of people want you because you're very attractive, you're very good looking. So it's been a journey, to be this good looking, because you've been preyed upon by a lot of predators. And we have play. So I feel like you're very innocent and playful. And I feel like, you incorporate your playfulness. And I think you're a star seed. So I feel like you have this beautiful innocence and playfulness about you. And I feel like people think they can play you or take advantage of you because you've got this innocence about you. You're also a star seed, which is someone who, has incarnated on earth to help support humanity and the collective. And I feel like, you've got this beautiful, you're of this world, but not of this world quality. And I feel like there's been an element here of predators because you've got this sweet, innocent kind of energy, and you don't suspect that people are going to prey on you, that there's darkness in this world. And I feel like spirit is coming through to say, like, you're very good looking, and you just want to have fun, and you just want to play, you just want to laugh, and you're very innocent and childlike. And I feel like you're a star seed. So you're not from this dimension. You're not from this realm. And I feel, it's kind of made you kind of like innocent in a way, because you haven't been exposed to darkness like this in the other realms, in the other dimensions. Like, your soul is definitely from, another galaxy far, far away, right? So it's like you came to Earth to spread your light, because you're some kind of a light worker, and you're very pure and innocent. You come from a place of love. And I think what has happened in this lifetime is like you've had a lot of people lust after you. And I don't think you've had a lot of experience with lust. I think you're very innocent, you're very fun, you're very playful. And I think you came to earth to spread your light and to help touch people's hearts with love. And I think, you know, a lot of these predators have come in with the intentions of seducing you. And I think what's happened is like you've been just this happy-go-lucky energy that's been quite playful and adventurous, and you come from a place of love, but then you have these predators that are just attracted to you physically, and they're there just to take from you. They're there to prey upon you. And I feel like it's been quite shocking to you because you don't have ill intent towards other people. You're very sweet, innocent, pure. And yeah, Spirit is saying like this is why you've been so preyed upon, because there's this element of childlike innocence about you, and you're pure, and there's been just a lot of predators attracted to those qualities about you. And they also saw you as an easy target because of your childlike innocence, because you're very, very pure. And, you know, that has made, you know, people think that they can prey upon you, think that they can take advantage of you, think that, you know, you're an easy target. And I think that's, you know, what Spirit wants to acknowledge about the situation. That's why you've been so preyed upon, because of your childlike innocence, because of your pure heart, because you're of this world but not of this world, and because you're really good looking. So maybe you've been just like going about life going, why have so many people preyed on me? Why have I been targeted? Why me? Why me? So you might be guided to step more in your masculine energy, you know, to help protect you. So you might like need to go and do like martial arts, get like that kind of like energy out there instead of this childlike innocence, to try and protect you, to put up that barrier of illusion. So I feel like maybe it will help, you know, it'll help predators to think that you're not that easy to, you know, to take advantage of. You're not that sweet and innocent. It'll put up this boundary that will says don't fuck with me. And I think that's the path you need to take, is like doing some kind of self-defense or martial arts to really help put up a barrier between these predators thinking that, oh, this will be easy, I can take advantage of this person. So that is your message. I really hope this helps somebody out there. Take care. See you next time. Bye, part 2. All right, if you chose part number 3, you're coming up as a sea otter. So the sea otter is a devoted soulmate, someone who's very loyal, someone who has a loyal heart. So I feel like when you fall in love, you only have eyes for your person. You're very loyal. So I feel like you might have fallen in love with somebody, and I think, you know, someone who you have a very loyal heart to, and you're very devoted to this path. You're very devoted to this person. You know, it's like when you fall in love, you know, your feelings don't change overnight. And I feel like Spirit is coming through to say you're like a sea otter. Sea otters like find their soulmate and they mate for life. So I feel like you're like a devoted little sea otter. You really wanted commitment with this person. You might have wanted to get married. You might have had this dream or this fantasy that you guys could settle down, start a family. You know, it's a devotion energy of wanting to commit to this person, show them your devotion, and build a happy life together. But you're very fun, you're very playful, and you're a devoted little sea otter when it comes to your heart and your love. But I feel like you and your soulmate are in separation right now. We have the void. So I feel like this person and you were together, and then something went wrong in the relationship, and you're feeling quite abandoned right now. You might have abandonment wounds. You might, you know, have had a really great connection with them, but they might have, you know, broken up with you out of the blue, or abandoned you, or separated. However it applies, it's just, you know, you aren't over this person, and you know, you're still working through these abandonment wounds that have popped up for healing. So you guys have had a breakup, and, you know, you've been feeling quite a void without this connection in your life. You know, this person had a really a really strong place in your heart. You were devoted to this person. And we have awakening. So I feel like you're going through a bit of a spiritual awakening now about your self-concept, about your abandonment wounds. And I feel like the universe has been like, saying to you, if you have these negative beliefs within your consciousness and always assume the worst about relationships, you manifest these type of separations and breakups. And I think the universe has been, pushing you, nudging you and saying, hey, you had these fears and these insecurities, and now you have, manifested a separation with this person. And I think, your intuition is nudging you and telling you that you can fix this. If you heal those abandonment wounds, and if you heal those thoughts, about not being good enough, not being chosen, people always leave, it's that kind of energy. And I think your intuition is telling you, and spirit has been trying to awaken you through your intuition, that you have the power to, with the stepping through energy, to make your dreams come true. So if you really want to be with this person in your heart, mind, body, and soul, you just have to heal and work through those triggers and really work on your self-concept, which is, I am always chosen. I am always, I'm always chosen by the people who love me. People never leave. I am loved. I am adored. Those type of concepts. And I think your intuition has been telling you that you can manifest this relationship back if you just work on those abandonment wounds. I think the abandonment wounds were a massive block in this situation and this connection. And I feel like, you're this beautiful, devoted heart, and you haven't completely given up on this dream. But I feel like you've got a pattern in relationships that you're trying to break. And Spirit is saying, we separated you and this person to awaken you to this pattern. Listen to your intuition, because if you work through these abandonment wounds, you can have this relationship. You can manifest a reconciliation if that is what you desire. And if you've got a devoted heart to somebody, your feelings don't just, disappear overnight. If you fall in love and it's this eternal love, you'll be having these feelings the rest of your life. So you have a devoted heart. You had this fantasy, you had this dream that you and this person might, settle down together, get married, have a child, whatever your dream was with this devotion. But unfortunately, there was a separation. And you're going through this awakening of like, what do I need to fix and heal within myself to make sure that these patterns of abandonment don't happen and I don't live out my fears in relationships anymore. So I think Spirit is saying, listen to your intuition. We're guiding you to let you know that if you heal these patterns, you can manifest the relationship of your dreams if you want this relationship back. You just have to work on your self-concept and your abandonment wounds. And I'll be doing some workshops online to help guide people in the future on how to work through these issues and really heal these patterns in relationships. But yeah, right now, this is the message I have for you. And you can head over to the website in the future, and all that information is in the description box below if you want to get a little bit more. Otherwise, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.